How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can see by the title on the whiteboard, we are talking about manufacturing plant assessments. And the reason why this is becoming increasingly important is a lot of clients are looking to modernize their facility. They're looking to invest in their operations. But the first step in most of those engagements, at least based on my experience, needs to start with an assessment. Now, of course, nobody wants to spend capital on something that doesn't necessarily drive ROI, and it's very hard to quantify what you will find during an assessment that will or will not yield certain projects that will result in successful implementations. That being said, in my experience, once again, if this very crucial step, you risk having a lot more issues down the line. You're going to prioritize the wrong things, and ultimately you're going to be spending more capital and more effort in engineering change orders or ECOs as you go through some of the integration or implementation for these projects. So in this video, I want to cover from a practical standpoint, what do these actually entail? What do I typically look at when going to different facilities? How do we conduct assessments? How long do they take? Who do we need to talk to give you a general idea on how you might want to conduct some of this perhaps yourself. Maybe you want to get more information ready for a consulting partner or an integrator so that it makes it easier for them as they come into your facility. They spend less time, and ultimately you're going to save some capital on going through these initiatives, and maybe also involving different groups that will conduct these independently. So ultimately, I do want to save you money on the assessment side. So first and foremost, I've mentioned this a little bit, but the first question is always, why do we need to do this? And so the question, of course, depends on the industry, depends on the architecture of the plant, depends on how old it is, but ultimately we're looking to areas of improvement. And these areas of improvement could be different in nature. They could be in terms of changing the process. They could be changing the obsolete equipment that you see on your floor. It could be your controllers. It could also be reworking some of your network architecture if you're looking to pull more data. It could be if you're on the bleeding or the cutting edge. It could be implementing some of the new AI features, right? So of course, this is going to be different for every organization. It's going to be different on every vertical. The second question is, we want to eliminate certain potential problems, right? So this is going to be not necessarily your predictive maintenance, but we want to find out about issues that could use capital expenditure and basically will happen at one point in time. So eliminate potential issues. And ultimately, during an assessment, we are getting, or the consultant or integration partner that you're working with should be getting you an as-built, and an as-built is a snapshot of your current state of the facility as it has been basically captured by this specific group. So usually what happens over the years is that there's going to be different changes. There's going to be different people coming into the plant. This could be internal, this could be external, but they will change certain aspects of the facility. And thus it is important at some point to audit what's currently out there. What is the state of your equipment? Because ultimately I have this conversation all the time with different stakeholders, but the documents that have been created at one point in time don't necessarily reflect the current reality and the state of the facility. So therefore, you need better documentation on a regular basis that will give you the ability to see what is truly going on. So what is the first step of an assessment? So number one, you always have a discovery call, right? So discovery call is going to basically imply the fact that you're not necessarily familiar with the operation and you're trying to understand what are some of the pain points of the team that is requesting or that is looking to conduct an assessment. So the discovery call is usually going to involve, on the client side, the plant manager. He's the person that's going to be providing the most perspective when it comes to day-to-day operations. Usually it's going to be a director of ops or VP of ops, depending on the size of the company, that has maybe broader context as to where the plant needs to go in 3 to 5 years. We're also going to involve someone on the maintenance and engineering side. So engineering/maintenance manager or director that understands some of the ongoing projects, that can also provide context and the technical details that the plant manager may not have. We're looking to understand also some of the finances and the ins and outs of the facility. How are the orders processed? What kind of different areas maybe are at the facility? But ultimately, this is an introductory call that could be 30 minutes to an hour just to understand the process, the plant, the current challenges, and maybe some opportunities from the team actually doing the work. So number two, we're going to gather documentation. And this is going to be the step before we go on site, before we start asking deeper questions. We want to understand what are the known factors based on this team's understanding of their own operation. So this documentation in my case is going to be diagrams of the process. So process diagrams. And again, as an industrial automation expert, you don't necessarily need to understand the chemistry behind the process, but you want to understand at a higher level the different systems, the batching processes, the discrete packaging process, the warehousing process. So you want to have some kind of a diagram. And in a general sense, what does this look like? I would have diagrams of different lines, for example. So this would be, let's say, line 1, line 2, and of course, in some facilities, the numbers are going to be completely non-sequential. So there's going to be line 34. And for example, this line has a filler, this line has a case packer, has a palletizer, and then maybe this line doesn't have a filler, but it has a labeler, and this all conveys back to a central palletizing area, which then goes to your shipping, for example. So you want to map out the general state of the process, right? So this is going to be maybe an entire batching process, so cooking and batching, and this goes then back to, let's say, this case packer that can switch from one recipe to the other. So you're trying to understand in a general sense, what does the process for this facility looks like? Number two, I've mentioned financials. So financials, extremely important. So financial information, and this is not just about your product that you're receiving, that you're buying, but also understanding what is the state of the facility, how good is their EBITDA, how good are they at managing the resources that they have. Sometimes it could be a profit and loss statement, just so you have a snapshot of what's going on with the facility and that you could intelligently evaluate some of the challenges that they may have on that side. The other docs that I look for as I'm doing a lot of work in the data space is going to be your network diagrams, all right? And so this is going to be both on the technical side, but also understanding the server side, the IT side, and probably some of the cybersecurity challenges that also be experienced by the facility. So it's going to be networking, work slash I slash OT diagrams. And what do these look like? Generally, they're going to be different areas. So again, I erased the drawing with the lines, but basically you have, let's say, your switches or PLCs that go to your central server, right? And this connects to different assets on your plant floor. And I'm seeking to understand if there are opportunities for them to maybe store data better, if they want to do an on-prem solution versus pushing it to the cloud, if they need to add different devices, again, within this mesh. And I'm not doing it justice. It is a very crude diagram, but basically there's going to be data exchanges between different devices. The last thing that I always look for is an account of all industrial automation devices. And what does this typically entail is your PLCs, HMIs, switches, so network switches. This is going to be your servers, access point, and etc. So why do we look for this is as we're going to show up to the site, we're going to conduct a study on their equipment and understand some of the basically obsolete pieces that need to be modernized, again, to eliminate cybersecurity challenges. It could simply be eliminating parts that are no longer sold by the distributor or the OEM. So there's going to be a lot of emphasis on just understanding the general layout of the facility when it comes to industrial automation. So the question that I always get and like to joke about is how good of a documentation do you typically receive before you go to the facility? And the reality, of course, is it varies, but generally speaking, the facilities are not going to have up-to-date documentation on most of their systems. They're going to have a general understanding of their physical assets, meaning your fillers, your case packers, palletizer, their process areas. But when it comes to drilling down and looking at the actual industrial automation equipment, the chances of them having a good inventory is usually very slim, at least in my experience, in primarily food and beverage and CPG industries. So that's why we need to, as the next step is we need to go to the facility. So on-site visit slash audit. And the reason why we do want to go on site is number one, we want to capture all of this information ourselves. We want to make sure that the documentation corresponds to what we're expecting, because the chances of that happening, like I said, are fairly slim. So what does this actually entail? Number one, so I'm going to put that as 3.1, we want to get a factory tour. We want to see what's going on with the actual plant. We want to understand the different areas. So while we're on the quote unquote tour, this could also be a gemba walk. We're trying to understand what are the different lines producing, what kind of different SKUs they're running on the different lines, what are some of the changeover procedures, what are some of the nuances of manufacturing. We're also getting, as part of the tour slash walkthrough, maybe with a more technical person, an engineering manager, or perhaps a maintenance manager, we're looking to see every single panel because we're looking to understand the PLCs, the HMIs, the network switches, the connections, the different devices that could be your device net or protocols control net that talk to that specific PLC. On my phone, I have hundreds, if not thousands, of different photos of panels that I have basically collected over my different visits, but we're looking to capture the state of the panels. We're looking to capture the identification or model number of your PLC, so that once we go back and do our research and due diligence, we can understand what is obsolete, what is a little bit less obsolete, what is perhaps a new section of the site. We want to understand the different areas, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, opportunity areas. So as we're walking through the facility, we're going to ask a lot of questions. How old is this specific line? How important is the other line? When you go into manufacturing, there's going to be a lot of different nuances when it comes to production. For example, I can speak to this without obviously talking about the product. I've been to facilities where lines were shut down and basically they were only operating 2 days out of the week or 2 days out of a 10-day cycle. And the reason for that is because there simply was not enough demand for that specific product, versus some of the other lines were over capacity and they were running through the weekends on a 24/7 schedule. So obviously you realistically make the case that they are going to be much more willing to invest in the lines that are being utilized quite heavily versus the ones that are likely to shut down at the end of the fiscal period. So we're also trying to understand where the opportunities lie for this specific manufacturer. While we're on site, as I've mentioned, we're going to schedule and spend as much time as we can on the plant floor, capture as much information as we can about the different areas, the industrial automation equipment, the server room. We're going to also establish some of the connections to people that we might not be able to reach if there are certain follow-up questions as we leave the site. So we definitely want to talk to the plant manager. We want to talk to the engineering manager, probably the ops manager that's in charge of the people on the plant floor and knows the operations intimately well. We want to create a map at the end of the day of all of the assets, instrumentation at the PLC, HMI, SCADA, and MES layers. We want to understand any data flows. So a lot of times I would show up to a facility that's using an obsolete system like RS-232, and it's talking to a lot of different PLC 5s in the field over Data Highway Plus. You want to understand where those nodes are, what they're doing, how much of that is important to the facility, what they actually look like, and capture the images with the part numbers, because ultimately you will be providing that information back to the customer and relating what needs to be done to modernize and fix some of the issues that they're going to be facing. So number 4, and I usually call this the research phase, right? So the chances of anyone having all the answers despite having collected a lot of the information, are going to be slim. So a couple of days need to be spent researching and putting together the information that has been collected. And so a lot of this, on my side at least, involves going back through and creating diagrams and making sure that they correspond back to what I was given at the second phase, right? But also, like I said, relating this back to the on-site visit and making sure that things match. A lot of times I would have multiple questions for the plant team. And so, of course, this also involves communicating back with the customer for clarification purposes. It also involves asking questions on the technical side, talking to the distributor or the OEM of specific hardware. So, for example, when you show up on site and you see a lot of Allen Bradley equipment, at least in North America, it is relatively easy to find documentation and information on how obsolete or how modern some of the controllers might be. But if you're going to have smaller OEMs, so for example, very specific load cells in different industries or flow meters may not be as documented and might also have very custom equipment. So you need to make the phone call, you need to send emails, you need to reach out to the equipment manufacturer to understand ultimately, is the piece obsolete? Is this a critical component? Is this something that needs to be replaced? And so you're putting together a list of different based on your visit and of course for different stakeholders. So your plant manager is not necessarily going to care about the obsolescence of an obscure flow meter, but he does care because it will hit his P&L if it were to put in the stock room. Similarly, if you're going to add parts into the stock room because there's been critical shutdowns and very long delays in solving some of those problems, your maintenance department is also going to care because now they have to carry that piece of hardware. They need to know how to install it, and they ultimately need to store it somewhere on site to prevent that outage. So at the end of the research phase, you're going to have a series of conversations with the plant team, and usually it's going to be similar stakeholders that I've listed here during the discovery, presenting them with the information. And so, as I've mentioned, I like to split this up, and you can use different frameworks. This is not overly complicated, but if you have information on the obsolescence of all of your industrial automation systems, you will probably send that off to the engineering and maintenance managers and provide them a strategy on how to optimize a lot of that equipment. If that requires a capital expenditure or be part of their CapEx projects as part of the series of renovations, maybe you need to talk to the director of ops or director of engineering that can approve those budgets. And of course, you want to involve the plant personnel as well and explain to them what is possible in terms of bettering some of their OE metrics, perhaps run different CI or continuous improvement initiatives, and just make the plant better in a personnel sense. And of course, there's going to be a lot of different Lean Six Sigma tools that address those issues. Some of the industrial automation engineers are more or less familiar with them. If you do have that knowledge, I would highly encourage you to convey that to the plant as well. Some of the project management best practices. Again, this really depends on your discovery and the 4 phases followed the discovery. As you create these reports, they're going to be different based on the industry. They're going to be different based on your experience. And of course, they're going to be different depending on the needs of the customer. So some customers know very well that they're looking for data solutions. Auditing all of this, you're basically focused on providing them information on how data can be, number one, extracted, how data can be stored, how data can be synthesized, and how data can be presented to personnel to make better decisions. Customers will focus on cybersecurity. So this is a huge question right now, especially in North America, as the European regulations are going to be coming in either this year or the next. The premiums are rising, so a lot of customers will do an assessment as part of understanding their cybersecurity posture, and they're looking to focus more on their equipment as well as the networking and IT and OT components. In either case, if you have any questions, I do have a lot of documentation on this, having done this. I have tons of different photos, but if you do have any questions, if you would like some clarifications on any of these steps, of course, as I've mentioned, they're going to be different depending on the customer and the industry. Don't hesitate to reach out. Happy to help, happy to answer any questions as part of the follow-up.